2:47 a.m. High above the rugged Zagros Mountains in Iranian airspace, the quiet eve of the Nowruz spring holiday is about to be violently interrupted. Before the sun even has a chance to rise, a heavily fortified billion-dollar underground missile complex is going to be vaporized into a smoking crater of twisted rebar and shattered Iranian pride. If the commanders on the ground think that the cover of darkness and hundreds of feet of solid granite are going to save their prized Shahab 3 ballistic missiles tonight, then they are about to receive a catastrophic lesson in American aerospace dominance. Stay focused, because what you are about to witness in the next few minutes is an absolute masterclass in taking a supposed impenetrable fortress and turning it into the world's most expensive underground parking lot. Right now, cruising silently at 42,000 feet, 4 B-2 Spirit stealth bombers, weighing 150 tons each, are slicing through the night air like ghostly executioners. Down below in the treacherous canyons, the Iranian crews operating the much-hyped Khordad-15 missile system are feeling utterly invincible. These operators are sitting in their command vehicles, practically high-fiving each other, convinced their $400 million radar network is an impenetrable shield. They genuinely believe the jagged mountain peaks and the pitch-black night are hiding their precious Shahab 3 mobile launchers from the world. Meanwhile, prowling the skies 30 miles away, a pair of Iranian MiG-29 Fulcrum fighters are burning through fuel, their pilots brimming with unearned arrogance. Their outdated radars might be useless against stealth, but they desperately trust their infrared sensors to catch the heat of American engines. Most people would look at this overlapping grid of missiles and think the airspace is locked down. But those of you with a sharp tactical mind already know the fatal flaw in this expensive Iranian setup. Arrogance is a terrible substitute for situational awareness. But here's the catch that the Iranian planners completely missed in their grand strategy. The B-2 Spirit is an absolute stealth marvel, right up until the exact moment its massive bomb bay doors swing wide open to unleash hell. For a terrifying 10-second window, that sleek, invisible marble suddenly balloons into a massive, glowing target on Iranian radar screens, expanding its radar cross-section by a factor of 100. The overconfident MiG-29 pilots, staring obsessively at their infrared scanners, suddenly see the blinding heat signatures of the B-2's 4 F-118 engines light up the darkness. Realizing that if they can just close the gap to 30 miles, they might actually pull off the impossible and score a $2 billion kill. But wait, there is one more layer to this disastrous Iranian miscalculation. The B-2 bombers did not come to this mountain party alone. Just as the MiGs bank hard to intercept, a phantom escort of F-22 Raptors drops the stealth facade, violently illuminating the night by snapping on their APG-77 active radars to paint the panicked Iranians. Before the Iranian pilots can even process the fact that they have been ruthlessly baited, the F-22s unleash a brutal barrage of AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles screaming across the black sky at Mach 4. Violently forcing the panicked MiG-29s to aggressively ditch their hunt and dive into jagged, narrow canyons to save their lives. But folks, here's the lethal error in this high-altitude chess match. By snapping on their active radars to save the heavy bombers, the F-22s deliberately blow their stealth cover, and now the entire Iranian air defense network is hyper-fixated on this chaotic sector. Down below, the crew of the Khordad-15 surface-to-air missile battery, a $400 million system designed to replace the Russian S-300, suddenly gets a momentary lock on the B-2 Spirit as its payload doors lock open for the drop. Time to missile launch, 22 agonizing seconds. If you were the commander sitting in the AWACS monitoring this unfolding nightmare, what would your next move be? Do you order the $2 billion stealth bomber to abort the mission? Or do you risk losing a priceless national asset just to hit a few bunkers? To make matters infinitely worse, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard unleashes a blinding swarm of cheap $20,000 Shahed drones right into the flight path, hoping to overwhelm targeting computers. It is a cowardly mathematical trap designed to drain American wallets. They want the United States to panic and fire $2 million missiles to swat down a cloud of fiberglass lawnmowers, knowing bankrupting the enemy is as effective as shooting them down. The B-2 pilots are staring down the barrel of a multi-million-dollar dilemma, forced to navigate through suicide drones while the Khordad-15 violently paints their cockpit with blaring warning tones. The tension is thick enough to cut with a combat knife as the clock mercilessly ticks down. 15 seconds until the Khordad-15 launches its interceptors, and the B-2 is completely naked with its massive bomb bay wide open. Ordinary viewers might look at this messy radar screen and think the American strike package has flown blindly into a catastrophic ambush that will cost billions of dollars and American lives. Stay focused, because the physics of destruction in the next 60 seconds is about to rewrite the rules of electronic warfare and turn this mathematical trap into a spectacular, humiliating Iranian suicide. Down in the cramped, smoke-filled command cabin of the Khordad-15 battery, the Iranian radar operators are already popping open celebratory sodas and slapping each other on the back, thoroughly convinced they are about to become national heroes. They are staring at the blinking blip of the 150-ton American stealth bomber on their screens, practically drooling over the thought of turning a $2 billion masterpiece of aviation into a burning pile of scrap metal scattered across the Zagros Mountains. These doomed henchmen are so blinded by their own arrogance and the shiny new buttons of their $400 million toy that they do not even bother to check their secondary frequencies or question why the American escort fighters suddenly vanished from the primary scope. They are literally laughing, thinking they have checkmated the greatest military superpower on Earth with a handful of cheap drones and a localized radar lock, completely oblivious to the fact that they are just blind bugs sitting on a very active set of train tracks. If you ask why these supposed elite guards are failing to see the massive anvil hanging over their heads, I will tell you an unbelievable military secret. Their entire command structure relies on rigid, pre-planned scripts that leave absolutely zero room for the brutal chaos of dynamic warfare. They are busy calculating the exact trajectory of their surface-to-air interceptors, high-fiving over the sheer embarrassment they are about to inflict on the United States, while entirely ignoring the subtle, almost imperceptible static bleeding into their communication channels. But here is the genius detail that makes this an absolute masterpiece of strategic intimidation. The United States military did not accidentally stumble into this overlapping web of Iranian air defenses, and they certainly did not expose their most valuable stealth assets just to give these underground bunker dwellers a lucky shot. Don't blink, unless you want to miss the exact moment when physics and advanced electronic warfare violently collide to wipe that smug satisfaction off their faces forever. The thermal truth is about to get very, very loud. At exactly 2:49 a.m., with the B-2 bomb bay doors wide open and the Khordad-15 system screaming a lethal lock-on tone, the overconfident Iranian operators pressed the launch sequence, expecting to witness the glorious destruction of American air power. But folks, here is the lethal error in their billion-dollar defense strategy. Most people just see a vulnerable bomber caught in the crosshairs. But those of you with a sharp tactical mind will immediately recognize that the United States Air Force does not make mistakes. They set traps. Out of nowhere, ripping through the electromagnetic spectrum like a silent tsunami, an EA-18G Growler electronic warfare jet drops its digital hammer. Using the state-of-the-art ALQ-249 next-generation jammer, the Growler pumps a blinding wave of targeted radiation straight down the throat of the Khordad-15 radar array, instantly turning their $400 million screens into a chaotic snowstorm of static. If you were the commander of this battery, watching your invincible shield instantly evaporate, would you panic and run, or freeze in utter disbelief? The Iranian operators are frantically mashing buttons, screaming over the comms as their multi-million-dollar dream of shooting down a B-2 violently disintegrates before their very eyes. But wait, there is one more layer to this triple threat failure that makes this mission an absolute masterclass. The Growler was not just there to blind them, it was there to hand them a brutal financial receipt. In the exact same heartbeat the radar is jammed, an AGM-88G HARM anti-radiation missile is unleashed from the shadows, screaming down from the heavens at supersonic speeds. The panicked Iranian technicians suddenly realize they are no longer the hunters. They are the heavily illuminated prey. In a desperate, humiliating scramble, they aggressively kill the power to their radar system, hoping to sever the invisible leash guiding the American missile. They think turning off the power makes them invisible again, practically high-fiving their own cleverness as the screens go black. But here is the genius detail that the Iranian planners completely missed. The modern HARM missile does not just blindly follow active radar waves. It uses an advanced inertial navigation system and GPS memory to permanently burn the exact coordinates of the emitter into its targeting computer the millisecond it detects the signal. You cannot hide from a weapon that already memorized your home address before you even realized you were under attack. Stay with me, because the physics of destruction in the next 10 seconds is about to completely erase this mountain fortress from the map, replacing an expensive piece of Iranian pride with a spectacular smoking hole. The supersonic AGM-18G HARM slams into the Khordad-15 detonating its warhead and turning a $400 million crown jewel of Iranian air defense into a blazing bonfire of twisted scrap metal. But folks, the second act of this torch party is just getting started, because the B-2 Spirit was never there for the radar. It was there for the mountain itself. High above the chaos, the E-3 Sentry AWACS has been quietly counting the reload rhythm of the underground Shahab-3 silos. Instead of blindly dropping munitions, the American commanders calculated the precise 4-minute interval when the heavily armored launch doors would slide open. Exactly on cue, the B-2 bomber unloads a devastating string of GBU-31J dams, each packing a massive 2,000-pound BLU-109 penetrator core. The smart bombs plummet flawlessly through the night sky, threading the needle right through the open blast doors before the terrified Iranian technicians can even realize their inescapable doom. The resulting explosion triggers a catastrophic chain reaction, vaporizing the ballistic missiles and collapsing the multi-billion-dollar cave network into a smoldering tomb of solid rock. Meanwhile, 4 Shahab-3 mobile launchers desperately try to scatter across the valley floor. But here is the twist that makes this mission a masterclass. Through the seamless web of the Link 16 network, targeting data is instantly beamed to a silent predator. An F-35 Ayadir stealth fighter swoops in without warning, casually tossing a volley of 250-pound GBU-39 bombs toward the fleeing trucks. The panicked Iranian drivers aggressively slam on the brakes to hide in the narrow ravines. Don't blink, unless you want to miss the exact moment when physics violently collides with their arrogance. The precision bombs effortlessly track the fleeing targets, obliterating each launcher with surgical brutality, tearing the expensive TELs to shreds and ensuring that not a single poisonous root of this network will ever sprout again. The dust settles over the Zagros Mountains, and the multi-billion-dollar Iranian fortress is officially reclassified as a smoldering archaeological site. The expensive Shahab-3 network was systematically dismantled in minutes by American munitions costing a fraction of the price. High above the wreckage, the 4 B-2 bombers smoothly banked toward home base without a single scratch on their $2 billion paint. Down in the Persian Gulf, the American carrier strike group sails safely on glass-smooth water, entirely untouched by the apocalyptic violence that just erased their biggest threat. Ordinary people see burning craters, but those of you with a deep understanding of modern warfare will see the real masterpiece, neutralizing a strategic threat without losing a single American pilot. But here is the final twist that makes this operation a devastating strategic checkmate. The EA-18G Growler did not just blind the Khordad-15 radar. It actively downloaded the entire encrypted communication protocol of the Iranian air defense network. The United States military just pickpocketed the digital master keys to the entire country, permanently painting every hidden underground bunker with a giant digital bullseye. The Iranian Guard just spent $400 million to accidentally hand the Pentagon a map of their darkest secrets. So only the sharpest tactical minds can answer this question. If you are sitting in the Pentagon today, do you use these stolen master keys to launch a preemptive strike tonight? Or do you let the Iranians sweat in the dark, knowing their every move is being watched? Let me know the move of a Grandmaster in the comments section below.